from one sectional to another. We'll also in Class 2A, we'll bring in our next guest here tonight, joining us from the Bluffton Tigers. We have head coach Brent Kunkel joining us. Brent, Coach, congratulations on a big win Friday night. You guys are still in the sectional playoffs as well, and keep rolling along. And here you are. Thanks for joining us tonight on Upon Further Review.
Yeah, appreciate you having us on. It was big win for our program Friday, going down to a very talented Alexandria team. Ranked 6th in the state and had a great season. Coach Gass did a great job with his squad this year, and it was a challenge for us to go on the road and pick up a win. But happy we did. Happy we're still playing, and happy to get to talk to you guys.
Yeah, absolutely. This season for you, another great year. I mean, you guys were sectional champs a year ago. Turned that page, first time in 35 years. For you guys now, the expectations, if you will, or the success you had, how do you, what has been the message all year long to find that success still, as far as navigating through this season, letting last year be last year, but building upon that to where you guys are now this year?
Yeah, that was obviously a major topic all off season for us. Winning the sectional last year for the first time in 34 years, and bringing 20 starters back off of that team. The challenge for us into the summer was, 2022 was awesome, but 2023 hasn't done anything yet. So really just kind of preached a concept and a mindset of humility. We play a really, really tough schedule. I legitimately think any team on our schedule is good enough to beat us on any given night. And, sometimes the temptation might be to try to overlook teams or things like that. But just staying in the moment, staying humble, and realizing, we want to play into November. That's a goal and an expectation that we have. But we want to take care of business in August, September, and October as well. So just having a concept and attitude of humility, trying to get better each and every day, all those fun cliche things that coaches like to say. So, but I'm really happy with our guys. We have great senior leadership. We got 16 seniors on this year's team. A lot of those guys have been starting for 2 or 3 years already. So it's a fun group to coach. And like I said, just happy that I'm continuing to do it for another week at least here.
Coach, let's talk about your game Friday night down there at Alexandria, because, that was a pretty tough test to roll out of the gates and, head on down to Alexandria down there by Muncie. But, your sectional 36 is a tough sectional. I mean, you got Eastbrook in there, of course, your two teams, Bluffton and Alexandria, and then you're going to play Bluffton here. We'll get to that here in a second. But talk a little bit about Friday night, because I think Alexandria had a pretty good quarterback that can throw it around a little bit, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, they were, like I said, they had a very, very talented team. They were 8-1 in the CIC. The only loss they had all season was to 4A undefeated Mississinawa. So, they play a tough schedule. We had a couple common opponents in there that we had seen over the summer. So it's good for us to compare ourselves to them, kind of as we were prepping for them. But yeah, very talented quarterback. It's the coach's son, Coach Gass. His son was the sophomore quarterback, and he had a couple throws there in the first half where, he just put it right on kids. They have a kid, number 7. I'm terrible with names. So number 7, that kid could play at any SAC or any 8 school. He's a very, very talented kid. And we knew coming into the week that he was going to be the focal point of what we would do defensively. And our kids took that as a challenge. And like you said, it's we don't have any off weeks in our sectional. We went from the number 6 ranked team, an 8-1 team, had to go on the road. And now we host, Coach Adamson and Eastbrook, who's in the Hall of Fame. He's a Hall of Fame coach, 300 career wins and, 17 or 18 sectional titles. So we don't get any off week in our sectional, which is what we want though. At this time of the year, you want to play good teams. You want to test yourself against the best teams. And if we want to get to where we have goals of getting to, we want to play good teams. So it was a fun, I can say it was fun now.
Right.
But my wife, I think, I was a little more stressed in the stands, but it was like I said, a tremendous challenge for us. Really, really happy with our kids, happy with the way they responded, because we easily could have gone down there and folded up, and they didn't.
Talk about some of your kids, that because you got some young kids at some, key positions, but talk about Braxton. You talk about bad with names. I'm right there with you.
Well, I know my own kids. I don't know other teams. I just know
That's good.
I'm going to pronounce this right, though. Betancourt, is that how you pronounce
Betancourt,
it?
yep.
Betancourt, your quarterback. And then is it Cooper Craig, your running back, who I think is only a freshman, right?
Yeah.
Talk about some of your kids offensively that, that you've been dependent upon all year.
Yeah, and Braxton Betancourt's our quarterback. He's been a 2-year starter for us. And really, we haven't asked him to do a whole lot throwing the football this year, but Friday was probably his best game. I mean, he was 7 for 10. He was efficient. I think he had 3 incomplete passes and 2 of them were drops. And that's what we kind of want from him. He did a lot of good things with his legs Friday night for us as well. It was, muddy, footing was off, and we didn't have any fumbled exchanges between quarterback and running backs, which in our read scheme, if you don't have those mesh points right, you can put the ball on the ground, and we didn't do that. Cooper Craig has been a tailback for us as a freshman this year, but a lot of that was because Cooper stepped in and filled a gap that was left. Our best running back, his name's Kamel Moore, and he broke his collarbone in preseason. So we just got him back 2 weeks ago. He went 26 carries for 150 yards. And then we've got a 6'3", 215-pound battering ram, Tucker Jenkins, who played running back for us some as well. He had 20 carries for 100 yards and 3 touchdowns. So it's kind of been running back by committee. But, you mentioned Cooper. He did a fantastic job, in weeks really 1 through 8 and 9. And he still gets some spot carries there. But that's what I really like about our team is that we are a team, and it'd be easy for guys to put their heads down and pout if they're not getting the ball and things like that. But, these guys have adopted, next man up, and whatever's best for the team is what we need. You got a kid like Kamel Moore, had 26 carries, and he's coming up to me on the sideline saying, "Hey, Tucker's better in this spot. Put Tucker in." You know what I mean? That's just kind of speaks to the team and the culture that we have. So, yeah, I'm really, really proud of our guys for that mindset that they've adopted. So,
Coach Brent Kunkel from Bluffton joining us here tonight on Upon Further Review. Coach, you move on to Eastbrook now. You talked about the tradition, the Hall of Fame coach. This is a really tough team, a really good team from the East Central Indiana, Marion area. And we know, looking at their stats, a team that, is going to run the football and run it a lot. Your impressions on them as you prepare for them, and really what the message this week is going to be to your guys as far as keying in another big game.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, they are going to be extremely well coached. They've been running this same offense since they were in, 3rd and 4th grade, and they've grown up doing that. So they're going to know what to do. We're not going to throw anything at them that these kids have not seen or that Coach Adamson hasn't seen, throughout his years of being a head football coach. So that's challenge number one, is preparing for a disciplined, very well-coached team. They do rely heavily on the run. There's no secret about that, but, we do too. And one of the great things that I respect most about Coach Adamson and Eastbrook is everybody in the state knows they're going to run dive and belly, and they still do it, and they have a lot of success doing it. So I admire that about them. Very talented sophomore quarterback who uses his legs really well. He's got a lot of speed, a very, very talented senior fullback who makes up the bulk of their offense. So we're going to have our hands full for sure. Their team speed, they fly around at the football defensively. It's going to present an interesting challenge for us. A little bit different than Alexandria. Alexandria was bigger up front, and had some skill kids. Eastbrook kind of looks to be fast everywhere. So it's going to be a great challenge for our kids. But like I said, one we're looking forward to and one we're embracing.
The resiliency from your group. You guys started off pretty good, hot there. I think 6-0 to start, and then hit that speed bump with Adams Central and Heritage. For your guys, the response from the team. You talked about the senior leadership to stay in it, to move on, to stay in there, and now be in the hunt again for a sectional championship coming out of ACAC play. Just talk about the resiliency of the group and just how they've continued just to believe in each other.
Yeah. We had a great start to our year. You get off to a 6-0 start, and if I could go back and do one thing over, we got elevated to number 1 in the AP poll for the first time in school history, and I kind of talked about that with our team, that it was kind of a big deal, and I think that caused us to tighten up a little bit. I think we felt like we had to prove, what people were saying about us when, actuality, it doesn't really matter what anybody else says about us. But we came to that Heritage game, and Coach Kolkman is a friend of mine, and they were well prepared for us, and they kind of took it to us early, and we're down 21-7 at the half and easily could have folded, but we came back and tied the game with about 3-4 minutes to go. And then Kobe Meyer took over, and Kobe Meyer is a phenomenal football player for Heritage. So yeah, we come off a loss there. It's very disappointing, and it'd been real easy to roll into AC the next week, who is, one of the perennial programs in the entire state, much less the ACAC. And what Michael has done at Adams Central is what we're trying to build here at Bluffton. And it was a 10-0 game heading into the fourth quarter, and I talked to Michael, after the game, and that was only the 5th time in 3 years that AC's had to play a full game. And 2 of those are against Indy Lutheran. You know what I mean? And so I thought our kids responded, to the disappointing loss at Heritage and came out and played a great game against Adams Central. And then we ended the regular season up at Lakeland, and Lakeland was, 6-2 coming in, and Coach O'Shea has a lot of talented kids offensively there. We're able to go up there and really kind of shut them down for the most part, to build some momentum heading into Alexandria last week. So our kids are resilient, even in Alexandria. We went up right away, 6-0. It took about 5-6 minutes to score. Alexandria comes down, bang, 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 3 plays, and they score. It's real easy to kind of like, oh, here we go again. But like I said, a great group of seniors, great group of captains, who are resilient, who've seen some stuff now. So it's a fun group to coach because they believe in each other, they believe in their coaches, and it's a fun thing to be a part of.
And of course, being at a 2A school, Coach, I know you involved in the track program as well. Just seeing real quickly about that multi-sport aspect, how important that's been for Bluffton to see the track guys and the football players and continue that continuity. I think has got to really help your program.
Oh yeah, for sure. And we want our kids to do multiple things. I talk to a lot of football coaches, how they argue with the track coach. And I say, I argue with the track coach all the time, it's because it's me, you know what I mean? I look at myself in the mirror and get mad at the track coach all the time. But, I genuinely believe, our football players are the best athletes in the school, and we want them doing multiple things. Like when I meet with every kid at the end of the year, we go through like a checklist, what they do well, what they need to improve. And then the bottom question is, okay, what's your winter sport? What's your spring sport? And they need to be doing stuff. At a 2A school when your best kids, they can't be one sport kids. Dwayne Eskridge, the best athlete, that I've ever coached. He was a 3-sport kid until his junior year, and then he did football and track. He doesn't get a football scholarship without being a track athlete, so it's very, very important. And any kid, a 6A kid, if you're a football kid, if you're a skill kid at Fort Wayne Carroll, like you should be on your 4x1 team or your 4x4 team. I don't know why I'm helping Coach Dinan, but you know what I mean? But those, you got the best athletes, they should be doing multiple things. So we're always going to be about that at Bluffton. No matter where I was, I want my kids doing multiple things because I think it's just so important.
Absolutely. Well, we appreciate you coming on tonight and joining us. Bluffton Tigers playing Eastbrook this Friday night. That's in right. Sectional semifinal, a big one in Class 2A, hosting it down in Bluffton. So a big game down there in Bluffton. We appreciate you, Coach, coming on tonight. Upon further review, best of luck the rest of the way, and we'll see you down the road.
Awesome, guys. Thanks for having me.